In this video, we're going to be talking about how to develop a fearless mindset. Because let's be real, it can be often sometimes a little bit scary or intimidating when we start to put ourselves out there and pursue our dreams and goals and visions that we have. I'm Andy Griffith, co-founder of Movement Formula, the all-in-one business coaching system. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to reveal how to release the pressure that builds inside, find the confidence that bursts through, and understand the process that's going to get us to our goals. And what we're going to do, we're going to reveal how to release the pressure, find the confidence, and understand the process that's going to help us break through that barrier. So the first step to developing a fearless mindset is accept that there's going to be mistakes along the way. Instead of being like caught off guard, understand we as human beings are imperfect, right? We are not perfection. Perfection is essentially a myth. So if we know that going head on into things, we don't have to be caught off guard when mistakes happen. Instead, it's kind of expected. So you're like, I mean, it's not like we want it, but it's expected. You're like, well, yeah, this was going to happen at some point in time, so that's okay. I'm not like caught off guard thinking, oh no. And oftentimes, if you look back in life, sometimes when you're in the middle of those storms, when you look back, when you're in the middle of it, it didn't feel like it was much of a blessing. But later on, oftentimes when you look back, you're like, wow, there was actually blessings that came through going through that storm. So as you go through the storm, right, realize there's going to be blessings along the way, because essentially we don't get a rainbow without rain, do we? Right? And so have you made any mistakes in the past? Is there some of them, if you look back now, you could actually maybe laugh about it a little bit? It probably wasn't funny then, but if you look back, you're like, actually, that's kind of hilarious that I went through that. Let us know in the comments, what's a mistake that you may have made that it's funny now that it really wasn't that bad after you got through it, right? Drop that down in the comments down below. For me, I remember when I first got started doing website design, I was doing WordPress and e-commerce, building a jewelry type boutique online store, and I didn't know much about coding. I remember I was doing something, of course, late at night, right? And I did something, and all the images on the whole entire site went to like 1 pixel by 1 pixel. I mean, everything. And I am not a coder, and I was just like, oh my God, I broke it. I broke this person's site, and it was a live, up and running site. I was so like, I was like, man, when they wake up in the morning, I'm dead. Now, luckily, I got through that, right? But in that moment, pressure was high, right? But looking back now, I'm like, wow, what an exciting, exhilarating thing. Everything was fine. We got it back up and running. But in the moment, that mistake was pretty intimidating. So what's a mistake that you've been through that at first you're like, oh no, but you look right now, like, it's actually kind of hilarious how it all worked out. Now, the second step to becoming fearless is realize you already have past achievements, right? You've won before. You've rose above and overcome before. You have faced adversaries and conquered and rebounded from that before, right? And so you can take those past experiences and draw strength from that. So think of those times like when all seemed lost, right? Like, oh my gosh, this is over. I don't know what's going to happen, but you somehow made it through that. So you can use it as a fuel that you can make it through things. You have to bet on your future self. Those moments, those essentially what prove you have it within you to overcome those things, right? As one of mine, some of you may or may not know, is my senior year of high school, I went to prison. I made some bad mistakes. And I remember when the judge sentenced me to 2 years of Department of Corrections, I thought everything was over. And I know other people have much longer sentences than that, but when you're 18 years old, senior year of high school, you're like, oh my gosh, everything's over. A lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. But looking back now, that was the best thing for me at the time. I didn't think that. I didn't think that going through it, but looking back, that past, and I'm going to call it an achievement because I've never been back to prison since. But going through that helped shape a moment. I learned a lot that I otherwise wouldn't have. And who knows where my life would have been had I been let off for that and maybe caught in another case, because I was on a bad path at that time. And so looking back, that was actually a blessing what happened. And so you have past achievements, past things that you've been through that you can take that as fuel, that not knowing when you walk into the unknown, you are going to be able to get through it, right? So with that, has there ever been a moment in your life where you thought all is lost, but somehow you've made it through it, and you look back, that's exactly what you needed to go through at that time? Let us know in the comments, is there a moment like that where you're like, man, I don't know how this is it. But then later on, you're like, that was exactly what I needed. Is there a moment like that in your life? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, this last one, it might sting just a little bit, okay? In order to be great, you gotta be good. In order to be good, sometimes that means you gotta be bad. But the trick is you just have to start, right? That's how you get started. And we all start somewhere, every single one of us, right? No one is where they're at today is not where they were when they began, right? It's just funny because we often we're like looking forward and we see where we're not and we forget like how far we've already came to get to where we are today. And what it is you just start, and what's gonna happen over time, you're gonna hone your craft, right? You're gonna round out the edges, all the rough spots, you'll get through that, okay? And then essentially what you're doing is you're investing in the outcomes. By doing the activity, you're investing in the outcomes, and the outcomes are going to multiply over time to greater ones as you propel yourself forward by getting started, right? Sometimes you just have to start lifting the weights to get momentum going, because that's what's funny about momentum. It's a lot easier to steer than start, but we have to get started or else we can't steer it, okay? So think about that. What's your current Everest that's being climbed? Comment down below. Is there a big thing that you're looking at and you're trying to climb and you're like, what is the thing? Either you've started it or you're about to start it. What's your Everest right now? I always like to think of things like your Everest, because in order to climb Everest, you start at the bottom. You don't just go to the top, right? No one goes, I landed on Everest. What an accomplishment. They climbed Mount Everest, right? Like, I landed on Everest. Okay, like what, did a helicopter drop you? There was no journey, right? Because there's a journey to your greatness. And through that journey is what it is that unlocks all this superpowers that are within inside of you. And what we here at Movement Formula do is we help online coaches start, build, grow, and launch their online coaching businesses. We radically simplify how they do it with our all-in-one business coaching system. And you can start for free at movementformula.com. Yes, you can start for absolutely free. Try it out yourself. It's an all-in-one platform that's going to reduce the amount of tech overwhelm a lot of people face when they're trying to build their online business. It's at movementformula.com. And if you like this video, think about taking a moment and click the little subscribe button, because what that's going to do is then you'll be able to see our future videos that come out. We've also got a library of ones we've already released. We've got a whole segment of more coming your way with more value to help you build and grow your own online coaching business. So take a moment, click the subscribe button, and also drop a like. When we see the likes, that lets us know this video was of value to you, and we can start to make more videos based on those topics that we see more and more people are liking.